Yeah, we'll
before
start.
that happened.
Exactly, yeah, you were there doing some work.
We arrived there at the apartment approximately 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., and we were cleaning it up just in general. My wife, she was washing the walls in the kitchen. The party that did live there, he was there about 8 or 9 years, so we were cleaning the apartment, and we had the refrigerator out in the front room. We had drop cloths in the front room. Had a table there, getting ready to wash it. It was in the front room, and I had changed the window blinds and repaired a few things like replacing the furnace filter, and we had our cleaning material there. We had our shampooer, and we were going to paint it and wash everything down first, and then paint it and clean the carpets and rent it out again.
So as you're doing this work, these two gentlemen show up at the house. Take me through what took place.
Okay, here's what happened. I went outside. It was somewhere around 4:30, something in that area. I went outside to get a filter out of my vehicle. There's no parking in front of the apartment because there is a bus stop there. So I was parked on the street, roughly a block. It would be about a block east of the building. So I went to the car, and I talked to a gentleman upstairs that lived there, and he asked me for some work, and I told him that I had a house on 32nd Street that the roof should be painted, and if he and his buddy would want to do that. And he said, yes. He said, write the address down for me. And I was going to my vehicle to get a furnace filter, so I went to my vehicle, and I got the filter, and I got a pencil out of my vehicle, and I opened my wallet up and took a card out and wrote the address down. And I had quite a bit of money in my wallet because it's first of the month, and I have a lot of units down there where I collect the rent. And he said thank you and everything, and I took my filter, went back inside, I locked the door. There's a primary door there. It's a steel door. It has two locks. I locked the deadbolt lock on the top, and I went into the apartment. I locked the deadbolt lock, and I put my filter in, which took just 2 or 3 minutes, and then I started working on the shampooer. I was kneeling down by my tool pouch at the edge of the bedroom, which is maybe 10, 12 feet from the exit door going out in the hallway. And I was trying to repair the carpet cleaning machine. And previously, about an hour before that, a lady called me that was interested in renting that apartment. And I heard this knock on the door, boom, boom, boom. I figured it was okay because the other door was locked, and someone had to let her in, and she would be okay. You know, that sort of caught me off guard. So I walked to the door, and I barely opened it. And then as I did, here came these two masked people. And at the time, I thought it was a Uzi he had. He had it sticking out in my face and yelling everything that you're going to die, give me your wallet, you're going to die. And so as he opened the door swings this direction, he sort of pushed me backward to where the drop cloths were, and I sort of straddled the drop cloths. They were maybe, a foot and a half tall. And when I looked him in the eye, I knew I was going to die. I mean, the weapon there, and it was a large weapon. And my wife was there. She was in the other room. And I figured I was going to die, but they were going to die too. And I faked a heart attack. I said, oh my God, man. And they hit me on the head. And I kicked one on the leg that had the weapon. And when I did that, I was bending down to get my weapon, which was in my waistband. And I saw his gun go up. And when his gun went up, I shot him in the side. And when I shot him, his arm stayed there and his eyes like he was surprised. He never did lower the weapon at me again. And then I shot the other one, and he went against the wall. And then I shot the man with the weapon again. And then I shot the other guy again. All this happened just in a split second. And the man that had the weapon that I saw, I didn't know what the other man had or anything. It just happened so quick. And they were shouting everything they could shout, what they were going to do to us. And so the man that I'd already shot twice, he managed to get out the door. And when he got out that door, I thought he was going to start blazing with the Uzi through the door, so I just kept firing. And I emptied my my weapon, which was 11 shots. It was a 40 caliber.
40 caliber.
Uh-huh. And then my wife, she was screaming, and she was just hysterical. And she said, Billy called 911, and my phone was down where I'd gotten so many calls. And it took me maybe 3 or 4 tries to even get out with 911. And I called them and told them to please come quick, because I'd just shot 2 men, and one of them looked like he was dying, the one inside. So after the police got there, I called the first officer to look through the window, because the one on the inside, his knee, he was already down sort of on his side, and his knee was in front of the door that the other man had went out. And I called the officer to the window to look at the knee of the man in front of the door. And he said, I'll come through that door. And I moved his knee, and he came through the door. And he made me stand still, and he separated me from my wife, and we never did talk anymore until after we left the homicide detectives. And then when I looked out into the hallway, they separated me and had me go out there and have a seat. I saw the weapon in the hallway where he had evidently dropped it from the pain. And then he made it about 40 feet around the side of the house to the backyard, and he died on the sidewalk. And the other gentleman, he was inside with blood coming out his head. And they both, the only face I saw was when the medics came to put him on the stretcher. They sort of pulled that down, and I saw his lips. They both were pretty well covered to where I couldn't identify him. And the rest is history. Homicide took us downtown, and they took my vehicle downtown for me, and they interviewed us for about 2 hours, and they let us come home. And
how are you feeling today?
Well, I don't feel too good. I'm real nervous inside, because that's something, that doesn't happen every day. And for sure, there's not a doubt in my mind that my wife and I would be dead if I didn't do what I did. And I would do the same thing all over again. I really feel bad for the 2 men that is deceased, but I would really feel bad if my wife was dead. So, and that was the whole point.
Yeah. Have you been in the military in the past?
Yes, sir. I was in the Navy back in the 50s. And
have you ever seen combat before?
Yes, sir.
So this is...
This is just part of my training that I reacted to.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And something you wouldn't expect to have to go through. So you always had a weapon with you when you were in that part of town?
Yes, sir. I have a concealed carry. Most of the time I keep a weapon in my vehicle covered with a towel where I can get it while I'm sitting, and then I carry a weapon in my waistband. But usually when I'm inside working where I'm safe, I take the weapon from my waistband and put it on the mantle, which I did there. And something just told me, well, the car is at a pretty good distance from here, so I just said, I'll just take my weapon. And I took my weapon, and when I went out and came back in, it wasn't 5-6 minutes until this happened, and that saved me by having my weapon.
And you're pretty well convinced that one of the gentlemen who showed up at your door was the one that took your card from you and was looking for work. He probably saw all that cash.
Well, he wasn't one of the guys that got shot.
Okay.
I think he was the boyfriend to my tenant on the 3rd floor. And he saw the cash. He had a key to let him in that door. You know, I would guess that.
So you think he's friends with those guys and said, hey, this guy has a lot of money on him, go
I
get it.
would guess so, yes.
Is there a lesson that people can learn from this situation? Is there something good that can come out of this?
The way I feel, it's tough when a person 70 years old cannot go to a house and make it pretty to rent to someone in the West End. It's just our society is just going to the dogs. And the only way it can change if the people there change it. I have 43 units total, and the most of those are in the West End. And I'm always cleaning, making a home for the people in the West End, whether they're black, biracial, or white. It doesn't matter to me. I rent to everyone. And the only thing we can learn that can happen to any of us at any time. And there's nothing you can do if you don't react quickly and have something to defend yourself with. I would be dead if I didn't.
The police are saying that they believe this was self-defense. Are you concerned?
They know it's self-defense. No, I'm not
Not
concerned.
concerned about the future of that?
No, sir.
Well, what's the message? I know, I think one of the relative of one of the gentlemen who came to your house, and I use the term gentleman loosely, said that they didn't, they were surprised that he had gotten into this kind of thing. Is there anything you want to pass along to them? You sort of talked about it a minute ago a little bit, but is there anything
I'm very sorry. There was nothing I could do. I looked death in the eye, and to do it again, I would do the same thing. And they would do it too. I have sons, I have daughters, and I love them very much. And I didn't know their family. I didn't know it was their family. All I saw was two people going to kill my wife and I. And all I can say is I'm very sorry, and I'm not a mean person, and I never intended to hurt anyone.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to get out there for people to?
Just I am sorry for that situation. It will change my life forever. My life will never be the same. And I will probably suffer more than most of the parents would suffer of the people that are dead now. And I'm just sorry.
I appreciate it. We're going to have you sit right there for just a second. We're going to.
That's fine.
Did they take your weapon from you, the police?
The police did. Yeah, when I put it on the mantle, I told 911 that it was on the mantle. And they took it to send it off to see that was a weapon that did fire the 11 rounds, and that was the weapon that was in there. And it turned out that the weapon that was left in the hallway was a weapon that was stolen from the police department.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow. And it was a semi-automatic kind of.
Yes. It was a Tech 9 with high capacity magazines in it. I thought him in the eye. And I knew I was dead, and I knew he was dead because he was going to die.
Sure.
When
Your wife was able to get to safety in another room? Or?
Well, she was already in the other room when that happened, but when she heard me say, "Oh my God, man, I'm having a heart attack, give me a minute," she came to the door, screaming and everything, and she was all terrified.
She thought you were really having a heart attack.
Yeah. Yeah, she thought I really had
Look it.
Yeah, I'm 70.
God bless you. That's amazing.
I think
Somebody upstairs is watching out for you.
I don't know how I'm alive.
Yeah, That's amazing.
I mean, I was supposed to be dead. I mean, the weapon was right on me.
And I assume they found bullets in that weapon. I mean, that was
Oh, they said fully loaded.
fully loaded.
I asked that question later on. I asked the homicide detective that interviewed me downtown.
Yeah, yeah.
I asked, was the weapon loaded? He said, yes, it was fully loaded.
Unbelievable.
So, I mean, I didn't know whether it was or not. I'm glad that it was.
Sure.
You know, but I didn't know.
Sort of gives you,
You know.
of course, you have no way of knowing it.
No,
That's what
I
police
didn't
always
know.
say too. If someone points a gun at them, they